Discover the incredible truth, 7 heartwarming reasons you'd struggle in hidden Tudor Britain. Emma stared at the flyer in her hands, the colorful paper a stark contrast to the beige walls of her small living room. Tudor Britain Experience, it proclaimed in swirly letters, beckoning her like a beacon of hope in the storm of her daily grind. This wasn't just any event, it promised an immersive journey through history for her and her kids, Zoe and Max. It raised visions of life beyond their tiny Ohio town, where every neighbor peered through curtains and whispered in hushed tones. The enticing idea of a new adventure sparkled in her heart, where dreams still flickered despite the weight of relentless worry. Each day, Emma poured herself into work before dawn, filling coffee cups and scrubbing floors in other people's homes, only to return to her own little place where love sometimes felt overshadowed by economic hardship. She knew the faces of struggle. She was one herself. But now, here was a chance to break free, to let Zoe and Max taste history, to step into shoes worn by brave, resilient souls long ago. Her heart raced. If they could experience all that together, maybe it could change everything. As they prepared to step into Tudor Britain, donned in handmade costumes, Emma smoothed her son's collar and brushed Zoe's hair back. Looking at her children's eager faces brought tears to her eyes. "We're doing this," she whispered, and in that moment, she felt like a commander ready to storm a castle. The journey began with their entrance into a town bustling with costumed characters and the scent of freshly baked bread wafting through the air. The charm was intoxicating. Laughter erupted among families, thrilled by the sense of community that radiated around them. But soon enough, Emma and her children realized this illusion cracked under the surface. Class divides became glaringly clear. They faced sneers and whispered comments from wealthier participants who strutted around like peacocks. "Look! They're from the low market." A girl in a frilly gown quipped, her voice dripping with disdain, sending Zoe's face sinking in disappointment. The looks they received felt like punches aimed right at their hearts. Tough it out, Emma thought, struggling to keep her own doubts at bay as she watched her kids bristle. They longed for a mother who could shield them from this. The tension bristled in the air, and with each moment, it became harder to keep her smile intact. Before they could retreat into sadness, Emma's eyes caught sight of another family in a similar predicament. They too were being bullied for wearing worn clothes and tattered shoes. Something ignited in Emma, a spark she hadn't felt in years, an urge to fight for what was right against this echo of inequality. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. We deserve to be treated like everyone else. She shouted, her voice trembling as a wave of unexpected courage surged through her. People paused, heads turned. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears as she witnessed the shock register on faces nearby. Families began murmuring, and the atmosphere shifted ever so slightly, tension easing just a bit. Though the road ahead seemed littered with challenges, Emma looked at Zoe and Max's determination battling fear in their eyes. This is just the beginning, she thought, heart racing with both fear and longing. Could they find their footing amid the turmoil of Tudor Britain? Would they reclaim their identities and understand strength, kindness, and the true meaning of family? Only time would tell, but as they turned together towards the horizon, a flicker of hope glimmered, promising changes yet to come. Emma's heart was still racing as the ripple of her outburst spread through the crowd. She felt both exhilarated and terrified, as if she had just thrown a stone into a still pond, the ripples disturbing everyone's thoughts. Her children watched, wide-eyed, and for a heartbeat, it seemed the harsh words from earlier had lifted. "Let us move," Emma said, stepping forward, her voice steadier now. She grabbed Zoe and Max's hands and led them through the crowd. As they walked, she felt connections forming with others who had witnessed her courage. In that moment, Emma knew they had allies. The dynamic shifted, whispers of support replaced mockery. Faced with the cacophony of the market, the aromas of spiced meats and sweet pastries filled the air. They moved closer to a stall overflowing with bright fruits. "Look!" Zoe exclaimed, pointing at a pile of pomegranates, their ruby seeds glimmering in the sunlight. "They look so juicy." Max tugged at Emma's sleeve. "Can we try one?" His eyes sparkled with excitement, momentarily forgetting the earlier taunts. Emma smiled, pushing her own concerns aside. "Okay, let us get one to share." She approached the merchant, her heart softened by her children's enthusiasm. The merchant was a kind-eyed man who leaned down to meet them, his cap tipped jauntily. "Ah, a fine choice," he declared, smiling as he handed over the fruit. "You just look like a family that appreciates a taste of the good life." Emma felt a surge of gratitude as she exchanged coins for the vibrant fruit. For the first time that day, she was reminded that kindness existed despite the challenges around them. They found a quiet corner of the market, sitting on an old stone bench under a flowering tree. Emma peeled the pomegranate carefully, and together they sampled the sweet, tangy seeds. Laughter soon filled their space, bright and genuine. It washed away the remnants of humiliation like the rain cleanses the earth. "Is this what history tastes like?" Max asked, his mouth full. Zoe giggled. "I think it tastes like freedom." As they shared the fruit, a group of children ran by, laughing, a few glances thrown their way. For a fleeting moment, Emma wondered what it felt like to be unbothered by others' opinions, to simply enjoy the moment without worry. But then, from the corner of her eye, she saw the same girl from before, the one who had mocked them. This time, she was gripping the hand of a boy in a fine tunic, whispering something that made them both laugh, glancing at Emma's family. Emma's chest tightened. "What's wrong, Mom?" Zoe asked, noticing her sudden shift. Emma took a deep breath. "Nothing we can't handle," she replied, summoning a smile. But as she looked around, a thought jostled within her, changing perspectives wouldn't be easy, and her family would need to push through this, together. "Let us find a game to play," she suggested, trying to infuse excitement back into their day. Everyone needed a fresh start, after all. And as they rose, ready to participate in historical challenges, another thought crossed her mind. A small spark of rebellion burned deeply within her. If they fought for their place, what else could they achieve? Could they change the way they were seen? Could they even shift the atmosphere of the Tudor experience entirely? The questions hung over them like a daring challenge. As they moved deeper into the festivities, Emma could feel the pulse of history beating faster, and her role in it was just beginning. What new tests awaited them in this vibrant realm? The vibrant sounds of the market enveloped Emma and her children as they ventured toward the games area. The laughter of children and the enthusiastic shouts of competitors mingled with the sweet scent of sugared almonds that wafted nearby. Emma's heart felt light for the first time that day, a warmth replacing the chill of earlier events. "Look over there." Zoe pointed excitedly at a booth set up with a colorful banner proclaiming, "Archery, test your skills." Max's eyes grew wide with awe. "Can we try that?" "Please," he implored, bouncing on his feet. "Just imagine." Zoe chimed in. "We could be like Robin Hood." Emma exchanged a quick glance with her children, and she could see the sparks of adventure bubbling within them. "All right, let us give it a shot," she said, the words tasting oddly euphoric as she embraced the idea of fun. At the archery booth, a tall man with a thick beard welcomed them. He was clad in a tunic that hinted at a bygone era. "Welcome, brave archers. Step right up and see if you have what it takes to hit the mark." Zoe, feeling confident, stepped forward first, positioning herself before the target. Emma stood at her side, offering quiet encouragement, her heart swelling with pride. As Zoe pulled back the string on the bow, the crowd's hustle faded, leaving only the sound of her breath. With a soft exhale, she let go. The arrow flew straight and thudded into the wood just shy of the center. The crowd cheered nonetheless. "Good job, sweetie," Emma exclaimed, ruffling Zoe's hair. "That was awesome." Max couldn't wait for his turn. He darted up next, determination etched on his face. As he took aim, Emma could see the focus on his little brows. He released the arrow, and it soared, hitting the target squarely in the bullseye. The onlookers erupted into cheers, and Max turned to Emma with eyes wide in joy. "Did you see that? I did it!" he yelled, barely containing his exhilaration. The bearded man knelt beside Max, presenting a small wooden pin. "Well done, young one. This is a token of your victory today." Emma's heart swelled. This simple gesture pierced through the noise of mockery they had faced previously. A feeling of acceptance wrapped around them like a warm blanket. Just as they began to celebrate, the familiar figure of the girl from before approached. Emma's heart raced again, but this time, instead of fear, it ignited a quiet resolve. "Nice job, little archer," the girl said, her tone surprisingly friendly. "I bet you can hit the target again." Max beamed, his small frame radiating pride. "I can. I'm really good at it." Emma's chest tightened as this unexpected interaction unfolded. She realized that change was happening not just within her family's hearts, but perhaps in others too. "Do you want to try?" Zoe asked, her innate kindness shining through. Despite their earlier encounters, Emma could see that her children were taking the high road, offering friendship where there could easily be more ridicule. The girl's expression shifted slightly, something like humility flickering across her face. "Maybe I will," she replied hesitantly, glancing toward her friends who stood back, whispering among themselves. Emma held her breath, unsure how this would play out. Would this moment draw the girl closer to them or push her further away? As the girl picked up a bough, tension hung in the air. What would happen next? Emma's heart raced, unsure if this was a moment of kindness or yet another confrontation. Little did Emma know, this encounter could unravel threads of their past experiences and weave an unexpected future, a future where the medieval struggles of acceptance and activity didn't just belong to their small family, but to a larger community. Could their actions ripple through time, impacting more than just their day? Emma felt the weight of this question settle on her shoulders as they gathered around to witness a pivotal moment in their evolving story. The girl adjusted her grip on the bow, her eyes darting between the target and her friends, who watched intently from a distance. Emma felt a mixture of hope and anxiety wash over her. Was this a moment of connection, or would it deepen the divide? "Just relax and focus on the target," Emma suggested gently, stepping forward a bit. "You've got this." The girl shot her a quick look, a flicker of appreciation crossing her face. Emma thought she glimpsed vulnerability beneath the bravado. For a brief moment, they shared a quiet understanding, as if they both recognized the weight of the occasion. This could either turn into a bridge or a wall. The girl readying herself was an indication. She drew back the bowstring and breathed deeply, her brow furrowing in concentration. Emma held her breath, hoping for the best. With a swift motion, the girl released the arrow, and it soared through the air, striking the edge of the target with a deep, solid thud. A few cheers erupted, and to Emma's surprise, she caught a glimmer of pride on the girl's features despite the miss. Max clapped excitedly. "That was great. You can totally get it next time." The girl laughed, a sound both light and freeing, as if she were shedding a layer of past burdens. "Thanks. That felt kinda good," she admitted, brushing back a strand of hair. Zoe beamed at her, genuinely pleased. "You should try again. Want me to show you how?" Before the girl could respond, her friends exchanged nervous glances. One shouted, "See Mon. It's just a game." The light-hearted taunts danced on the edges of Emma's anxiety, reminding her of the unkindness they had faced before, but instead of retreating, the girl took a step forward. "Yeah. I think I'd like that." Emma's heart leapt. Maybe this small moment was more significant than she realized. As Zoe and the girl began a makeshift lesson, Max jumped in, eagerly demonstrating his technique. The camaraderie built between them felt like sunlight breaking through clouds, warming their shared space. Several moments passed, filled with laughter and playful banter, and soon enough the girl let go of her earlier reservations. She was hitting the target better now, and with each arrow that joined the others in the wooden bullseye, the distance between their worlds diminished. "Look!" the girl shouted, excitement replacing her earlier hesitance. "I did it!" Emma watched her, moved. She saw that joy reverberating through her children as well. They were forging bonds that started on shaky ground but transformed amid laughter and the thrill of competition. But just then, Emma noticed the girl's friends whispering again, looking uncertain, almost disappointed. "Hey! What are you doing?" one of them called out. His tone held a hint of mockery that sent a chill through Emma. The girl's shoulders slumped slightly. Then, a flicker of defiance flashed in her eyes. "I'm having fun, okay? So what if it's different?" Max's grip tightened on his bow, ready to counter anything thrown their way. Emma took a step forward but then paused. She knew this moment mattered. "Friendship isn't a game you lose or win," Emma called, hoping her voice would reach across the distance. "It's about coming together, no matter how you started." There was a tense silence. The girl's friends exchanged glances, uncertainty swirling among them. Emma felt the weight of the moment shift, teetering on the brink of possibility. The girl took a deep breath, her voice steady. "I want to try. I think I'd like to be friends." Emma's heart soared. But would her friends back her up? The market buzzed around them like an unseen tide, and Emma held her breath, waiting for the response, aware that each heartbeat synchronized with the fragile thread that connected them all. Would it spill into hostility or blossom into acceptance? As the tension hung palpably, a realization seeped into Emma's heart. Sometimes, the hardest battles were those fought not with weapons or words, but with an open heart. The girl's friends glanced at one another, the atmosphere a blend of expectation and anxiety. Would they rise to the occasion, or remain tethered to their previous ways? Emma couldn't tell which way the winds would blow next, but she was ready to embrace whatever came next, holding her breath, hoping for the best. The air hung thick with anticipation. The girl's friends began to shift uncomfortably, their gazes darting between her and the small group from the market. Emma held her breath, each second crawling by like an eternity. Finally, one of the girls tilted her chin up defiantly. "You really think this is going to go anywhere? Playing nice with them?" Emma's heart sank as she sensed the cold wave of negativity washing over the moment. The girl, however, stood her ground. "Yeah, I do. I want to have fun. Can't we just enjoy this?" There was a hesitation in the girl's friends, but their expressions were a mix of confusion and unrest. They were used to the old ways, where fitting in meant keeping their circle tight and views narrow. Emma felt a pang of concern for her, wondering if this moment would encourage her friend or trap her deeper. "See? It's just a game," another friend piped up, crossing her arms. "What's the point?" Max stepped forward, his voice steady. "The point is to try. Look how well she's doing." He gestured at the girl, who was beginning to relax into the rhythm of shooting arrows. Each attempt seemed to gather her confidence like a growing flame. The girl caught Max's eye, her expression brightening. "Yeah, I actually like this. It's fun." Emma beamed at Max, grateful for his support. But the tension still hung like a noose around the group. The girl's friends exchanged glances, and Emma saw the battle playing out in their eyes. They were teetering on the edge of a decision that could shift everything. "Come on," one friend finally said, breaking the silence. "If you want to be with them, fine. But you better not forget where you came from." Emma took a deep breath. It felt like a warning, an attempt to sway loyalties. But the defiant spark in the girl's eyes didn't waver. I'm not going to forget to have fun, she asserted, a newfound resilience in her tone. A small smile broke through the tension as Zoe nodded eagerly. And we'll help you. We can all do this together. Emma's heart raced. Each moment felt monumental. Could this become something beautiful, or would it cave under the pressure of the past? More laughter floated in the air as the girl tried her hand again, and this time she hit the target with impressive accuracy. The cheers were louder, and a flicker of something bright flashed in her eyes, a connection, a sense of belonging that felt raw and real. In that moment, Emma thought she could almost see the threads of friendship weaving into a tapestry of hope. But in the midst of that joy, the girl's friends still seemed skeptical, whispering among themselves. Were they starting to accept her joy, or was this a deeper battle of acceptance they hadn't yet begun to fight? As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over everything, Emma's optimism soared. She watched the girl revel in her newfound triumph and couldn't help but hope that this small act of courage would ripple out and change everything. But would it hold strong against the winds of doubt that still lingered? Just then, the girl's closest friend stepped forward, eyes narrowed. This isn't over. Just remember who you're hanging out with. As unease prickled the air once more, Emma felt her heart lurch. The room was filled with unspoken possibilities. What would happen next? Would they come together, or would the shadow of doubt tear them apart? Emma could only stand by and hope for the best, preparing for the storm that might be brewing. Emma exhaled slowly, feeling the tension seep back into the atmosphere like a slow, creeping fog. The girl's friend, with her defiant stance, had cast a shadow over the moment, dimming the joy that had started to bloom. Emma could see anxiety flicker across the girl's face. Hey, let us keep playing. Zoe's bright voice cut through the heavy silence. Watch me. She picked up her bow, focusing intently as she aimed for the target. The pop of her arrow slicing through the air lit up the moment, pulling a faint smile from the girl again. See? We can make this fun, Max encouraged, joining Zoe at the makeshift range. Emma could feel her heart warm at how willing he was to help bridge the gap. The girl took a deep breath, as if steadying herself against the storm that surrounded her. Okay, I'll try again. She stepped forward, determination etched on her face. Emma watched as she reset her stance, the bowstring drawn taut. The arrow flew, soaring straight and true, hitting the target at the bullseye. The collective gasp of the group melded into a burst of applause. The girl's eyes sparkled with surprise and delight, and for just a heartbeat, it felt as if the weight of her friend's judgment began to lift. Emma couldn't contain her own smile. Maybe this was the turning point they all needed, but then it came again, the sound of whispers, sharp and accusatory, slicing through the laughter. Emma's stomach knotted as the girl's friends exchanged glances. You really think they're just going to let you in like that? One of them sneered, attempting to snuff out the joy that had dared to ignite. The girl faltered, her confidence dwindling as she glanced at her friends. Their word choices were arrows too, aiming straight for her spirit. Emma felt a familiar tug of fear. Would she let their cloud of negativity darken her sunshine? Would she retreat into the familiar folds of friendship that stifled her? Guys, really? Zoe's voice dropped, frustration lacing her tone. This is ridiculous. She can have fun with whoever she wants. But what happens when they don't want her anymore? Another friend snapped. You think this will last? Each word dug deep, and Emma watched as the girl's bright eyes dimmed. She took a small step back, her bow trembling slightly in her hands. Emma's heart ached for her friend. Why did acceptance have to come with such steep costs? No one is asking you to forget who you are, Max asserted, taking a step between the girl and her skeptical friends. It's okay to explore new things. It's okay to have fun, together. The girl looked up, searching for reassurance in Max's eyes, and Emma felt a rush of warmth flow through her. She saw her friend blink away tears, the conflict visible on her face. She was being asked to choose a choice that felt impossibly heavy. What if this is just the beginning? Emma whispered, stepping closer. You can still be you and embrace this, too. The girl's breath caught, a mixture of fear and hope swirling within her like a summer storm. In that moment, Emma realized it wasn't just about winning over her friend's loyalty, it was about finding the courage to be vulnerable, to redefine who she was on her own terms. The tension between the two groups felt electric. Emma knew they were at a tipping point, a cliff where friendships could either be shattered or rebuilt. What if they do accept us, she thought, a glimmer of hope flickering. What if we all learn to stand together instead? As the sun set behind the horizon, casting its last amber light, Emma's mind raced with possibilities. Just then, the girl opened her mouth as if to speak. Would she take the plunge, or would doubt win out? Emma held her breath, waiting to hear the words that could change everything. The girl's lips parted, but the words lingered. Emma could sense the fear bubbling just beneath the surface. Everyone held their breath, a hush settling over them. Emma's heart raced, sensing the weight of the moment. Would her friend find her voice? Then, with a soft tremor, the girl whispered, I want this. The words were fragile, carrying a burden of unvoiced dreams and doubts. Emma felt warmth surge in her chest, that flicker of courage lighting up the dark corners of doubt. Max smiled encouragingly. Then go for it. Show them what you've got. The atmosphere lifted, growing lighter, infused with newfound possibility. Zoe stepped back, creating space for the girl and offering her a supportive nod. You've got this. Just focus on the target. With trembling hands, the girl took a step forward, her gaze fixed on the bullseye. She gripped the bow tighter, steadying herself against the surge of emotions crashing over her like waves. Emma felt the electricity in the air, the fervent hope that this was the moment to reclaim her joy. The girl's breath hitched as she drew back the bowstring. For a second, it felt as though time stretched around them, the world falling silent. Emma could see the conflict dancing in her eyes, fear of judgment, hope for acceptance. Come on, Emma whispered under her breath, willing her friend to push through the storm of uncertainty. The girl released the arrow, and like a bolt of lightning, it flew straight and true. There was no gasp this time, everyone stood frozen, eyes trained on the target. The arrow struck, embedding perfectly in the center of the bull's-eye with a sharp thud that echoed through the woods. A chorus of cheers erupted, drowning out the whispering doubts that had deemed her unworthy. Emma's heart swelled. The girl beamed, shining brighter than she had moments before, radiating confidence as if she had turned the tide entirely. See? You did it! Zoe exclaimed, rushing over, pulling her friend into a tight embrace. Emma watched as the fears that had shadowed the girl's joy began to evaporate. The two groups felt like separate worlds colliding, but, in that very moment, Emma sensed a path opening between them, but then the skeptics shifted, mirroring the girl's earlier anxiety. You can't really think they're going to accept you now, just because you hit the target once. One of them threw out, a mixture of confusion and annoyance etched on her face. The girl hesitated, caught between the electric satisfaction of the moment and the chill of judgment still lingering. Emma felt the energy crackle again, the potential for acceptance buried beneath layers of doubt. Everyone deserves a chance, Emma said, stepping forward. Look at how far she's come already. Isn't that worth celebrating? The moment hung, and Emma felt the weight of anticipation shift once more. Would the girl's friends embrace her triumph, or would they cling to their skepticism like a shield? The girl's eyes brightened with possibility as she took a breath, a spark of resilience igniting anew. Emma could see it, the belief beginning to ripple through the crowd, relationships teetering on either side of the bridge they were building. Maybe this is more than just an arrow, the girl said finally, her voice trembling but firm. Maybe it's about finding out who I really am. As the twilight descended, Emma sensed something magical unfurling. They were standing on the precipice of change. Would they let go of the past and step into a new beginning? The air crackled with hope and trepidation, a delicate balance revealing itself in a heartbeat. Emma leaned in, ready for whatever would come next. Would they rise as a united front, ready to face the world together. In the midst of this pivotal moment, a shout echoed from the woods, breaking the spell. What now? Emma turned to feel the excitement and fear intertwining. Were they about to face a new challenge, or could this be the moment of truth they had all been waiting for? A sudden shout shattered the stillness, sending a wave of unease rippling through the gathered crowd. Emma's heart skipped, her breath catching in her throat as she turned toward the direction of the voice. The woods, usually still and inviting, now held an air of mystery. Hey! Over here! A boy, tall and slightly wild-haired, stumbled into view, his face flushed with excitement and urgency. He pointed behind him, where shadows danced under the waning light. You guys aren't going to believe what I just found. Emma exchanged looks with Zoe and Max, both sharing a mixture of curiosity and concern. Who was this boy? What had he found? The moment felt suspended, a taut string just waiting to snap. Wait, what is it? Zoe called out, taking a step towards him, every inch of her lit with intrigue. I think it's a cave. He shouted, barely able to contain his enthusiasm. And there's something inside. His words tumbled out like the rush of a cascading stream, drowning out the lingering doubts that had clung to the girl's moment of triumph. A collective gasp echoed. Emma could feel the momentum shift, the energy of the group swirling with renewed vitality. They had all come together in this magical spot, but now it felt like they were being offered something more, a chance to dive deeper, to connect in ways they hadn't imagined. Are you serious? Emma asked, her excitement sparking. What's in there? I don't know. He replied, shaking his head. But it's cool. You've got to see it. In an instant, doubts faded into anticipation. Emma grabbed the girl's hand, tugging her gently forward. This is your chance. They want you with them. Let us go. The girl hesitated for a split second, the remnants of her earlier fear still lingering like shadows on her face. But then, with a resolute nod, she took a step forward, her eyes brightening with determination. Emma felt her heart race, a sense of solidarity blooming among them, their fears dissipating into the wind. As they followed the boy into the darkening woods, the trees loomed tall like guardians, guiding them toward the unknown. The path ahead was winding and uneven, every crackle of a branch or scrape of a leaf beneath their feet sending vibrations through the group as they navigated. What could be in there? Max pondered aloud, a grin spreading across his face. Treasure. Or maybe a secret hideout. Or ghosts. Zoe chimed in, her eyes twinkling with playful mischief. Really, Zoe? Emma laughed, feeling the thrill bubble up inside her. You had to go there. Hey, you never know. Zoe shot back, feigning seriousness. As laughter filled the air, Emma looked back at the girl, who was now walking confidently alongside them, a small smile flickering at the corners of her lips. Maybe this wasn't just a dive into the unknown, it was an adventure they all needed, a shared experience that could bind them closer. They reached the entrance of the cave, which seemed to breathe, drawing them in. Emma hesitated at the threshold, the darkness spilling forth like an invitation. Each of them held their breath, anticipation crackling like static in the air. Are you ready? The boy asked, raising a hand to shine his flashlight into the mouth of the cave. The girl looked around at her newly formed family of friends, the spark of courage igniting within her once more. I think I am, she whispered, stepping forward, leading them into the unknown. As they crossed the threshold, an exhilarating mix of fear and excitement surged among them. On the other side of that darkness lay something that could change everything or reveal the next chapter in their journey. But as they ventured in, a strange noise echoed from deeper within. Was it just the wind, or was there something waiting for them in the shadows? Emma felt the weight of the moment once again. Would they uncover wonders, or would they stumble upon something unexpected? The air felt charged. What truth awaited them in the depths of the cave? The cave was darker than Emma had imagined, the flashlight beam carving a path through the blackness. Shadows danced along the damp walls, each flicker a reminder that they were stepping into the unknown. The strange noise they heard earlier echoed again, a low, almost humming sound, sending shivers racing up Emma's spine. Maybe it's just bats, Max suggested, trying to keep the mood light, but even he sounded uncertain. Or treasure. Zoe chimed in with a nervous giggle, but Emma could see her hands tremble. Everyone felt the weight of the cave pressing down, thick with mystery and the scent of earth. The boy she still hadn't caught his name led the way, his flashlight's glow bouncing off the walls. "Come on. It's over here," he called, waving them to follow. They moved forward, the air growing cooler as they entered deeper into the cave's embrace. Each step was an adventure, yet uncertainty clung to them like fog. Emma squeezed the girl's hand tighter, feeling her pulse quicken. "You okay?" she whispered. "I think so," the girl replied, her voice small but steady, a sign of the bravery Emma admired. "I want to see what's in there." They soon rounded a bend and entered a wider chamber. The flashlight illuminated the walls, revealing swirling patterns etched into the rock, catching the glimmer of their light like stars in the night sky. Emma's breath caught in her throat. These drawings felt ancient, as if they held secrets of another time. While Zoe breathed, stepping closer to the wall, her finger lightly tracing the lines. "Do you think someone made these a long time ago?" "Maybe they were trying to tell a story," Max offered, his voice echoing through the chamber and bouncing back to them. Just then, the low hum they heard before intensified, reverberating through the walls. It was as if the cave itself was alive, vibrating with energy. Emma's heart raced. They were all frozen in place, caught between fascination and fear. "Should we go deeper?" the boy asked, excitement bubbling through his words despite the fear in his eyes. Emma glanced at the girl, who was staring at the markings with wide eyes. "What if there is something dangerous?" Just then, another sound broke through the clattering of stones, followed by a soft thud. It came from deeper inside the cave, and a chilling realization washed over Emma. They weren't alone. "What was that?" the girl asked, her voice shaking now. I don't know," Emma stammered, her mind racing with the possibilities. "Maybe it's just the cave settling, or maybe something else." The boy took a deep breath. "We'll be fine. Let us check it out together." Emma looked around at the shifting faces of her friends, still holding the girl's hand firmly. Despite the thrill of exploration, fear loomed larger than ever. They had come to share a moment, but now it felt more significant. "Okay," Emma said, her voice stronger than she felt. "Together." As they ventured deeper, the cave continued to hum, wrapping around them and squeezing the air from their lungs. Each step felt weighted, the thrill and uncertainty intertwining as they crept toward the unknown. Then, suddenly, the flashlight beam landed on something on the ground. It was small and shimmering, half covered in dirt. Emma's heart pounded as the boy knelt down, brushing away the grime. "What is it?" Zoe asked, leaning closer. For a moment, all they could hear was the pounding of their hearts and the hum of the cave. Emma felt her breath catch. Whatever it was, it had the power to change everything. "What if it's a key?" the boy said, eyes wide with excitement. "A key to something else?" Emma swallowed hard. What truth awaited them next, and would they be ready for it? The air thickened with anticipation, each moment building upon the last. The mystery deepened, and as they leaned closer, a spark ignited deep inside Emma, something that felt like destiny. And then, before they could process what lay before them, another sound echoed through the cave. A voice. It whispered from the shadows, beckoning them further into the depths of the earth. Emma could hardly believe it. What awaited them in that darkness, and could they handle the truth that was waiting for them? The voice echoed again, clearer this time, wrapping around them like a soft blanket. "Come closer, discover the truth." Emma shivered, taken aback by the familiarity in the tone. It was almost soothing, tinged with an almost magical allure that pulled her in. "Should we go?" she whispered, glancing at her kids and the new girl. They all breathed heavily, hearts racing in unison. "I think we have to," the girl said, a newfound spark in her eyes. Emma nodded, feeling that urge swell among them. Sometimes, challenges needed facing, and this was one of those moments. Holding hands, they crept forward, stepping carefully. Max and Zoe squeezed Emma's hands, their fear palpable yet intertwined with anticipation. The light flickered across the walls, revealing more etchings, more stories. As they turned a corner, something glimmered in the darkness. A large stone stood resolute, engraved with words that seemed to pulse with energy. It looked ancient, yet familiar, as if it had been waiting for them, waiting for a moment just like this. Emma stepped closer, her breath hitching in her throat. The carvings shimmered brighter, illuminating the chamber. "It feels alive," Zoe murmured, awe dancing across her face. The girl stepped forward, drawn to the stone as if it were calling her. "What does it say?" she whispered, kneeling to get a better look. Emma turned her head, reading with her quietly moving lips. "It speaks of unity," she said finally, the realization washing over her. "It tells stories of families and friends coming together against all odds, of acceptance and love." Hope soared within Emma. This was what they had been fighting for, the very essence of community. It resonated with the tension they had faced earlier, binding them together in ways they hadn't expected. "This is our truth," she said, almost a reverent prayer. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. A warmth enveloped them, spreading like sunlight breaking through after a storm. The faint humming transformed into a harmonious tune, resonating deeply within their hearts, stirring compassion and courage. Everyone felt it, the unity, the acceptance, the power of belonging. In that moment, Emma knew they were part of something larger. Whatever they faced beyond this cave, they would stand together. "Let us make a promise," she said, looking at the girl and then at Zoe and Max. "No matter what happens, we will always support one another." Max nodded vigorously, his young voice bright. "And help others, right?" "Exactly." Zoe chimed in excitedly, her spirit lifting along with their collective hope. The girl smiled, relaxed now, shedding the weight of earlier burdens they had endured together. "Can we all be friends?" she asked, her voice rising with newfound confidence. Emma beamed. "Of course. Friends look out for each other." As they embraced their promise, collective laughter erupted, echoing off the stone walls. The shadows of doubt faded, and the energy shifted. They were stepping into a brighter future, fueled by love and acceptance. Suddenly, a light burst forth from the stone, bathing them all in a warm glow. The cave thrummed with life and energy, almost as if it were thanking them for their courage. They felt like heroes now, strengthened by their bond and ready to face whatever awaited them beyond this moment. Walking out together, hand in hand, Emma took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of adventure and possibilities. The world outside awaited, vibrant and full of potential, ready for their stories to intertwine. From that moment forward, Emma knew they would face life not just as a mother and her children, but as a family that had learned the true power of kindness, resilience, and unbreakable bonds. Each step together would echo their struggle and triumph, a resounding reminder of who they were and what they represented, and as they emerged into the light, venturing beyond the echo of the cave, Emma's heart swelled with pride. Yes, they had faced adversity, but together, they had transformed, turning struggles into strength, and fears into friendship. This was their story just beginning. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.